If there was a slight pause there. Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Hogarth's Global Astrology. Well, the time has come. Oh, do let me know if you can hear me in the comments. This is the first time I'm actually using my headphones. It's to stop me from straining my voice. My singing, too long to explain, but I like to have singing lessons and stuff. And yeah, someone's saying, so can you hear me? Can you hear me, everyone? Just let me know that you can hear me properly. If not, then I will unplug and I will speak in the usual way. So just let me know in the comments if you can. Let's see here. Someone's saying Annie Hamlet, pink hand waving. Oh, loud and clear. Excellent. Excellent. Thanks, Ruth Goldberg, mentioning that as well. Now, forgive me, I still loud and clear. And there are times where my screen is going blank and I'm getting the hamster wheel, but maybe you can still see me. So fingers crossed, I'm getting thumbs up and stuff like that. Right, everyone, the time has come. Now, as you know, us astrologers have been scouring the internet. Every single, oh wait, one person said frozen, breaking up. It's breaking up. Hopefully it's okay. Is it still breaking up now? Saying, dang, you freeze up every now and again. Oh, yeah, you're saying, it's a bit laggy. Oh, bummer. Do you know what? I tried to record this earlier. I'm wondering what I can do. I'm not sure what it is I can actually do for it to not be breaking up. Okay, someone's saying it's okay now, but it's intermittent. Stephanie Craig saying, I can see in here, okay. Refresh. Something was askew. Some of you saying the timing is off, but is it still off now? Kim's saying it's perfect. Maybe it was just a little of a skip at the start. If it happens too much, then I'll have to end earlier because look, no one wants to watch, jerky kind of like stuff. But everyone's saying it's okay now. Right. Jack Smith, everyone. As you know, all us astrologers have been hovering like vultures, looking for his birth details, trying to extract the information and stuff like that. And as you know, until you have a birth date and ideally a birth time, you can't really guess. However, many of you have brought it to my attention that there was, I think it was the New York Times recently, he did an interview or something, forgive me if I've got the title of the paper wrong, and his birth time was given as the 5th of June 1969. Now, we don't have a time, however, we can still see where the planets are in the signs, and I have noticed something very significant about Jack Smith's chart. Just go everywhere because of my look. Did it just cut out again? Oh, let me just take my phone off the internet in case that's taking any juice. Or maybe I just needed to do a restart and a refresh. Did it just blink again? Right, you know what? Let's let rip. If it gets too blinky, let me know. Let's do the share. And as you know, I like to get stuck in and just get on with the show. So let's do share screen. And then let's get all this stuff out. Let's do entire screen. share. Let's do that. Let me just do, maybe I'll just unplug what I'm going to unplug see if this helps. No. Okay. I'm back. Ah! What a nightmare. Can you hear me? Let me know if you can hear me. What craziness. Let's say. Can you hear me? Yes. Oh, what a nightmare. Look, that has never, ever happened before. I'm just going to get, pardon me, I'm just going to get on with the show. For anyone catching up watching this recording might be really weird because there'll be a bit where you see me speaking, then where it cut out. Yeah, Angela's saying Neptune. Yeah, you never know. Do you know what? What I'll say, guys, when I started doing this whole trying to get Jack's chart up, it started to play up almost instantly. And you remember I was saying, well, you know what? I'm not really going to read on Jack's chart or whatever, because I always felt the energy was a bit weird. I think the energy around this thing, maybe it's because it's so pertinent to America right now. Maybe, you know, the energies aren't kind of wanting it to happen. So, I mean, there was over 200 of you. I think there's only 100 or so of you now, because obviously you guys will be like, what the hell is going on? Let's try again, and let's see how far we get. But if it cuts out again, I'm going to take that as a no from the universe. Yeah, because sometimes we're not meant to know certain things, and I have never had my computer do that before, where it just went, you know, well, mind you, you know, I've had my technical difficulties. Let's try again and let's see what happens. So let's go, let's do presentation. Let's get chat. God, I hope this works. Jesus, God, I should have burnt some incense or snage. In fact, let me just burn a little bit incense. Un momento. Let me just burn some incense. Get that going, and maybe that can clear the energies a bit. Also, as well, what I've done is that 1 second. Let me just get this right. Also, as well, 1 minute. As you know, guys, my energy, because what I've done is, let's do share entire screen. Click that, share. What you've got to remember, folks, is I've done this literally just coming off a consultation. And you know what it's like with my energy, because obviously when I work with the clients, but I also work with the planets as well, and I have a lot of energy going through me when I because I don't normally do these kind of things on Thursday, but I wanted to do stuff yesterday, but I was at a concert, Hans Zimmer, which was fabulous. And very often as well, I find my energy can interrupt my devices, particularly if I'm very excited or if I've just come off a consultation, because you can imagine, like most consultations, they're like hour and a half of being, pardon me, in that energy, and that can affect my equipment as well. So what's saying here? What's it? Someone's saying, what are they saying? Just don't burn the house down while you're burning the incense. Yeah. All right, let's get stuck in. Someone's saying, hold on, I'm so late. I'm watching for the beginning. Hi. No, actually, you're actually okay, because there's a middle part of the show that actually blanked out, Connie. So don't worry about that now. Let's just get on with this before something happens. What am I doing? 1 second. So I've got the sharing screen here. Oh, that's it. All I need to do now is get up Jack's chart. Come on, computer, don't mess around with me. There we are. Here we are. So let's move this along a little bit, because I just need to see myself a little bit as I do this. Come on, computer, don't mess about. God, getting the hamster wheel. Let's go wider. There we are. Right, folks, can you see the charts? Just let me know in the comments if you can see. This is Jack Smith's chart. Can you see it? Oh my God. What is going on here? This is bloody nightmare. Yeah, I think you can see. I think you can see the chart. Can you just see it? Just give me. Because I can't see the comments. Yes. Okay, I got a yes. All right, let's go back. All right. I'm going to get stuck in. Now, here, I just want to move it a bit like this because I need to be able to see myself when I'm talking to you. And let's go a bit like this. Right. Here is now, look, you see the time? I've put the time here at midday. So this is 5th of June, 1969. And he was born, oh, I can't remember what it's called. It's sort of like in upstate New York. I can't actually see the, let me just see where it says here. I don't even want to do, where was he born? Let's do where it says edit data. I'm not going to edit. He was born where? Clay, New York. That's the one. Clay, New York, in upstate New York. Now, I've taken the time midday here, but we have to take this thing with a huge pinch of salt because we don't actually have a birth time. When I checked, when I did 1 minute past midnight for the 5th of June, the ascendant was Capricorn rising. Here you can see it's Leo rising. Now it's very interesting because the rising, this is why birth time is so important, because you need to know what is the first house, because when you know the first house, then all of the other houses follow in sequence. What interesting things happen. If this was his rising sign, assuming he was born at midday and he's a Leo rising, which could make sense. And then if we count round 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, because remember, he's a lawyer, that means Venus with debilitated Mars becomes the 9th house. However, if he's a Capricorn rising or somewhere in between, but Capricorn, we count from Capricorn 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, then Jupiter, which was also a planet of law, also would fall into the 9th house. But let's go midday because it's the halfway point. And in general, people that hold high office do tend to be born around about midday. So let's just take this with a pinch of salt. With the moon, we have to take the moon with a pinch of salt because the moon moves very quickly. You see here, look, she's only at 2 degrees and 21 minutes. When you put the birthday at 1 minute past midnight, his moon falls into Capricorn, yeah, which also deals with the corporate world, etc., and all that kind of stuff. However, the midday one gives us the moon here in Aquarius, which deals with humanity. So I'm thinking the humanity aspect. So I got a bit of food here. The humanity aspect. Because remember, he used to be what? A lawyer for The Hague, yeah? Maybe there's something more kind of going on here. Anyway, the important thing is this. We have to take this with a pinch of salt. And until I have an accurate birth time, I cannot bona fide go into the real nitty granular detail that I normally like to. However, the slower moving planets, so all of the planets except the ascendant and the moon, everything else we can pretty much trust, yeah, because they're not going to move that far in 24 hours. So let's begin. One of the things Jack Straw has is, whether he's a Leo rising or not, is that he's got his Pluto in the sign of sidereal Leo. Let me tell you, this is a huge thing, particularly for many of my clients. Pluto Pluto deals with the underworld, yeah? It's the underbelly, the underworld. Some of the worst of what humanity can do, unfortunately, yeah? Pluto does have a good side, which is about transformation, alchemy, mea culpa, the phoenix rising from the ashes, even magic. He can obviously is dark magic, but he can be shamanistic magic as well, turning lead into gold, yeah? I hope this is all going well with you guys, and it doesn't seem to be cutting out, thank God. Now, what I found is this, and a shout out as well to my clients today as well. And we were talking about Pluto. Now, Pluto, I found, deals with ancestral traumas. Yeah, ancestral traumas. But it can also deal not only with one's own ancestral traumas, but the traumas of others. Yeah. Now, if we think, now, of course, we're taking a little bit of a leap here, but it's not that far of a leap. He has prosecuted some of the worst criminals in what? The Hague. Leaders and people of authority. Now, if we look here, the sign is Leo. What is Leo all about? It's about leaders, bosses, CEOs, kings, queens, presidents. Yeah, presidents, people of influence and power and high office. Now, we don't know his birth time, but we can maybe infer by this position here in Leo, because remember, Pluto is a slow moving planet. Pluto will barely change a degree in 24 hours, you know, let alone something like the moon. So here he really is part of that Leo, Pluto in Leo generation, which also encompasses the boomers. And one of these days, I'm actually going to write a book called The Boomers. Yeah, because what I found is you guys collectively, those of you who know that there are boomers or consider themselves boomers, I've done so many chart readings now where I can see people come in soul groups, soul groups. Many of you watching, your parents would have been part of the silent generation. Yeah, you know, that kind that just got on with stuff and didn't talk about stuff, even though everything was happening and it was like this. What I found is the boomer generation, particularly those with Pluto in Leo, are here to have come to Earth to help process the traumas of the collective, either in their families, because many of them have had either alcoholic parents or difficult parents or parents that went through trauma in the war, or had to deal with all sorts of difficult shadow things in regards to Pluto. I know this is Jack's chart, but in a way, I have to kind of open it out to kind of describe in a way what his energy is up to. Many of you will recognize this. And I say again, many of you will recognize what I'm saying. The boomer generation collectively has come as a soul group to be one of the first to help alchemize the ancestral trauma and try and turn that lead into gold. Many, 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 many of you have planets here or conjunct the star Regulus, which means you've been nominated by your ancestors to often end traumatic patterns in families. Yeah. Here, because Jack has this configuration, but only just, you see, look, Pluto is at 28 degrees 58 minutes. So another degree more, it will go into the Virgo generation. So the likes of Jack are the last of that generation that is really dealing with all of that kind of stuff. Many of you have done counseling or received counseling, or family members who've been dealing with addiction or trauma or your own personal traumas and processing all of that stuff. So I just want you guys to know, with the topics that we'll cover, particularly with what Jack is covering, many of you would have done your own shadow and processing work. And I want to say to you collectively, a well done, because it's not just been your traumas and your life that you've been processing. It's been everybody else and all of those that came before you. Yeah. So I just wanted to share that little thing. And maybe it's because I'm just coming off a reading and that's something that we were talking about. I didn't intend to go in that direction, but it just happened. Anyway, so Jack is part of that. And obviously I can't see the comments either. So, you know, let me know your thoughts in the comments. So we can see here, this is a man that has come to do alchemy in regards to leaders. Obviously, Duc Larange, we know is a Leo rising bona fide, yeah, because we have his birth time. Trump has got his planets in here in Leo, and I'll compare the two charts in a minute. What we will see here is that here, Jack has got Jupiter, Ketu, and Uranus in sidereal Virgo. Now, Virgo, we don't know the house. Here it's saying the second house. We don't know the house, but I can tell you what this energy is about. Jupiter deals with the law, yeah? So does Saturn, but Jupiter deals with laws as well. It's the ideological vision of the law, what the law should be, concepts. The law, Jupiter is like the sun rose on the 5th day of such and such, blah, blah, blah. So therefore we have this law, etc. Saturn is about the practical application of the law. Jupiter is the ideology of the law, the thought processes. So very often, a person who is a lawyer will have planets either in Libra, something like that, in the 7th house, which can also deal with law, or there is a special configuration with Jupiter in their chart. Here, you will also see Jack has got a very, very close configuration here between K2, the south node of the moon, and Jupiter. Can you see? Jupiter is at 2 degrees 56 minutes, almost 3 degrees. And his K2 is at 3 degrees 21 minutes. That's a perfection, yeah? Remember what I say, any planet within 1.5 degrees of something, I call it a perfection. It's very, very close. Here, you've got Uranus as well. So first of all, what that tells me is Jack is actually quite a spiritual guy, you know. He is a pretty spiritual guy. The Sanskrit name for Jupiter is Guru. K2 deals with the Mokshakaka, which means liberation from this world, and is a very spiritual planet, very focused, yeah, deals with a lot of focus and scrutiny. And Uranus is sudden shocks and surprises, astrology, all of the sciences of different kinds. But here it is in Virgo. So Virgo is the sign of health and healing and overcoming obstacles. So we can begin to see already that just by looking at the signs that these planets are in, we're starting to get an idea of Jack's purpose. He is here to help clean up shop, especially in regards to leaders of the world. Of course, he's prosecuted many leaders in The Hague and whatnot. This Jupiter here is reinforcing it, but it also shows as well there's a slight radical element here to Jack because Uranus is here. Now, Uranus is sudden shocks and surprises, also deals with genius, innovation, and doing things outside of the box. So it's almost like we have a man that's kind of unconventionally spiritual. He also believes in technology and all of that kind of stuff. But there's a great sense of purpose with his work. The other Sanskrit name for Jupiter is Jiva. So Jiva shows the life in the chart. In many ways, the inspiration of what that person's life is about. So if he's got Jupiter with K2, yeah, the Mokshakaka, and then Uranus adding another otherworldly quality, there is actually, within Jack, there's actually quite an otherworldly quality to him, where I believe that very much of his purpose, he sees it as part of his divine purpose to bring justice. That is amplified by this Mars over here, but I'm going to save it till last because you guys are going to be like, oh my God. His moon here, now we can't be sure of the moon. I'm sorry about that, folks, because his moon was on the cusp between two signs and she moves so quickly. When I did the chart for 1 minute past midnight, the moon was in Capricorn. Midday, you can see she slipped into Aquarius, so she could be even further in. Yeah, the moon can move 13 degrees 20 minutes in 1 day. Anyway, but let's assume that his moon is in the sign of Aquarius. Now, Aquarius is a very intelligent and analytical sign. And you know what? When I engage, you know, with Jack's energy and I look at that moon, what it means is the moon has to adapt to wherever she is. Saturn and the moon aren't friends. However, Saturn is known as a cold, dry planet, and he's at his coldest and driest and most clinical in the sign of Aquarius, his energies. The moon will be picking up those energies. It's like Monopoly. What happens in Monopoly when you land on a property that doesn't belong to you? Yeah, say after me. You have to pay rent. Yeah, so here the moon is technically the tenant. If this is right, this is the moon is the tenant of Saturn in his chart. In fact, the moon definitely is, because Capricorn if he were born at 1 minute past midnight and it falls into Capricorn, Saturn rules Capricorn as well. He's the only planet to get his signs back to back. So either way, what does the moon represent? The moon represents the mind overall, the childhood, how we instinctively adapt to things. So, you know, there might be a slight issue in terms of the relationship that Jack has with his mother, for example, because the moon is the mother in the chart, and it can cool. I find that the Saturn I describe as drying the breasts of the mother. Yeah, so sometimes it can mean the mother is not quite as comforting and nurturing, more so in Capricorn, I've found, than Aquarius. Sometimes the mother can be a bit narcissistic in Aquarius. But anyway, it can mean the mother could be bright and intelligent and clinical, but it also shows that Jack has that potential for that clean, clinical, no fuss. Did you notice when he gave his speech announcing the indictment, it barely lasted 5 minutes? Yeah, his words were clipped, to the point, and concise, cold and dry. So at the very least, we know that he has an analytical, clinical mind, which of course is very useful for the law. Wouldn't you agree? Let me just see what you're saying in the comments. Let me see what, I'm just moving this, wiggling this over here. Let's see. What's it? Hawaii bound. Good point. Oh, I've lost track of the chat. You know what it's like with you guys in the chat. You guys just let rip and you do all sorts. Anyway, just I'll get back to what I'm doing. Let me know what you think, obviously, afterwards. And sorry, guys, for the technicalities. Right, let's look at his Rahu. Now, we can't be sure of the house. Now, remember, Rahu is the manifest point of destiny, the direction in life that we're supposed to go in, ideally. We tend to come more into it in the second half of life. Now, if we look here, this is correct for Rahu. Rahu is not going to move multiple degrees in 24 hours. So we can see his Rahu is, here it's saying the 8th house, but let's ignore the house for a minute. We just look at the placement. His Rahu is in Pisces, and Pisces is all about healing, creativity, and empathy. My nickname for Pisces is Empath's Corner. All of my clients know this. I say this to all of them. Empath's Corner. So here we see Jack is actually a man who's got tremendous empathy. He really does. I think when you combine this Rahu energy here with this humanitarian moon, shall we say, again, it starts to make sense, doesn't it? So he's got a tremendous amount of empathy, compassion for people and the underdog, and of course, wanting to seek justice. You'll also see here, you see this little thing that looks like a key? That's called Chiron, and that's the wounded healer. So we don't know which area of life this wound is applying to, but the fact it's with Rahu, it can show Rahu is quite extreme. So this can suggest that Jack either has a personal wound that's quite extreme, or he has dealt a lot, pardon me, with wounded individuals. This is what I suspect really how this energy is playing out. Because of course, you know, when you're dealing with the Hague, you're dealing with what? War crimes and all sorts. I think this guy has seen and heard a lot. But this is part of his manifest destiny to be compassionate. Because I can't be sure the house number, I can't tell you the exact area of life, but very much compassion in action is really a lot of what he's about. Now, when we look over here, in fact, actually, I'll save the 9th house for a little bit. Let's look here at his 10th house. Now, he does have the sun in sidereal Taurus and his Mercury there in sidereal Taurus as well. What does that mean? First of all, this is a man who likes to have tangible results. Taurus is about tangible results, objects, food, luxuries, goods, services. This has a lot to do with finance and money. So Jack's probably not short of a penny or two. Yeah, we don't know how many millions he has, but I'd be surprised if he's not a millionaire. Can you imagine all those high profile jobs and all that stuff he's done, let alone his bonuses for whatnot. Here, Mercury does very well in the sign of Taurus. Here, the sun doesn't do so well. So there may have been some issues with the father, particularly in terms of the dialogue and everything like that. Or his father could have worked in banking or the arts or selling the assets of goods and services and stuff like that. The important thing to understand is this. His Mercury is at 10 degrees and 52 minutes, which is very close to a royal star called Aldebaran. Aldebaran is known as the star of luck and fortune, wealth, money, etc. All of this stuff. It's very creative. It's a very wealthy star and it's very lucky. But one thing that's really important to share, and as you know, I'm getting more into the stars and their meanings and stuff, particularly as well in the more Western context. Guess what? Aldebaran is associated with Archangel Michael. Yes, the angel of justice. For my membership, for those of you guys that are members, and if you want to be a member, feel free to have a look. I've just done a video special. It's uploaded now on the 4 royal stars. Yeah, Aldebaran in Taurus, Regulus in Leo, Antares in Scorpio, and Fomalhaut in Aquarius. So we will see here that Aldebaran sits at 14 degrees 17 minutes of sidereal Taurus, and his Mercury is almost at 11 degrees. Yeah, so that gives us an orb within 5 degrees. And here it is in Mercury is here. Mercury is all about what? Speech, communication. It's all about skills. It's all about contracts, dialogue, discourse backwards and forwards. Yeah. And he's got Mercury conjunct Aldebaran, which is also Archangel Michael, the angel of justice. Wow. Remember, Michael is always what? Depicted with a sword, much like in the tarot cards. And I must make sure I'll pull some tarot as well. So there's that. Then when we look here, now again, I can't be sure, but one thing that in terms of the house, but let's assume that this Leo ascendant is correct. Here you'll see Venus and Saturn together. Now this is really interesting. Saturn, Venus, and Mercury are all planets of business, and they're all planets of laws and negotiation and discussions and backwards and forwards, everything to do with Earth school. Here, if this is correct, this Venus and Saturn falls into the 9th house. The 9th house deals with the law and lawmakers. So do you see? So this, in many ways, is a bit of a fit. However, there's something going on here. You will see here, Jack's Saturn is technically debilitated. It sits at 10 degrees 55 minutes of Aries, which is the debilitation sign for Saturn. Now, look, this isn't the end of the world. What a debilitated Saturn can do is this. Aries is all about speed. Saturn is all about delay. Saturn also deals with rules, regulations, and the law. Yeah. But have you noticed how quick in general Jack has been? Do you remember people have remarked about the speed? Oh, wow, he's moved quickly. Yeah, because look, this Saturn, where it says ASV, yeah, if we look over here, Saturn SA is in Aries, debilitated, like I said, DB. But look, it's in the nakshatra Ashwini, yeah, along with Venus. Ashwini is all about speed, haste. Ashwini is also known as the physician of the gods. Yeah, here you've got the Ashwin Kumar twins that are the physicians of the gods, and they deal with beauty and they also deal with eyesight and all kinds of healing in general. Could it be that Jack is going to bring the USA a kind of healing? Yeah. However, this energy here, it means though as well, there will be an element of Jack where he never feels like he's working hard enough. People who have debilitating Saturn, they're always working, because they never quite feel their work is finished or good enough. So he might have quite harsh criticism about himself and his work. He may, even though he's being successful, he may feel his work is not good enough. I'm sure he tripled and quadrupled and quintupled checked everything before it went out because he wants to be sure. I think he fears this not working out. But anyone who's read, you know, the what's it called, the subpoena, devastating. Yeah, devastating. Here Venus is here helping Saturn out. However, Saturn stars whatever planet he's with, even his friends. So this can actually affect his relationships. I understand that he's married, he seems to be settled, but you know, in the past he may have had a few issues with relationships. with females in particular, or he might have a sister that he might be a bit estranged from, or she's a bit harsh or a bit of a maverick or something like that, if he does have a sister. The most important thing to talk about is this over here, because Jack Smith has got 2 planets conjunct, not only 1, but 2 royal stars. If we look over here, do you see the glyph for Mars, which is also retrograde, by the way? And the degree of Mars here is 14 degrees 52 minutes. Now, this is really important because there is a star that sits at 15 degrees. Can't remember what the loose change is, but it's 15 degrees of sidereal Scorpio. And this star is called Antares. And Antares is the star of war. Yeah? Now, this star takes on, I think it's got the nature of Mars and Jupiter. Yeah? Now, on one hand, this can be very tyrannical energy when it's in the negative. Yeah? When it's in the negative. However, in the positive, this deals with logic, strategy, having a game plan, a war plan. Antares deals with great generals, people that are very focused, passionate, and organized. Look at how Jack has taken on this case. Let me tell you this, you do not want to be up against someone who has Mars, the planet of war, conjunct Antares, the star of war, which has the nature of Jupiter and Mars. Whenever a planet is conjunct a star that also shares its nature, it is said to magnify the power of the influence of that star 10 times over. Duc Larange is in a lot of trouble here. He's in a lot of trouble because this guy really does know what he's doing. He has got Mars, the planet of war and strategy and all of this kind of stuff, conjunct, effectively conjunct his own star in his own sign of Scorpio. This is extraordinary. Jack really means business. He means business. Now, look, many shenanigans could still come along. You remember, like I said in Hogely last week, where I said it's almost like we're watching an episode of The Omen, yeah? Where the nanny comes in and there's Damien. Yeah, we can all guess who Damien might be in this instance, Duc Larange. And she says, "Be not afeard, little one. I have come to protect thee." Yeah, that's what she said. It's so creepy. It's one of the creepiest parts in the film. And you see this little smirk, yeah, come up in the corner. And she does. So let's not forget, there are people that are disciples, yeah? Disciples, absolute neophytes and total Kool-Aid, loony bin devotees of Duc Larange. We know this because he's a cult leader, yeah? Even the experts are coming out and saying it now. He's a cult leader, yeah? And, you know, like I said, one of my nicknames for Trump is what? Black Mirror, yeah? He is like a dark reflection of a part of the deep, deep, dark part of the American psyche. So it is not done yet. Remember this Judge Cannon? She has the ability to basically create a situation, if she doesn't recuse herself, where no charges, no sentence time, no time in jail is said. So she's like, okay, found guilty, but no time in jail. Yeah. Or she can even do, she's got so much power. I just find this utterly ridiculous. They say that her total hours in court time is about 14 hours. Do you remember when I got Shakespeare to give his opinion, yeah, on this crazy person, and he basically said she's not qualified. Let me turn down my light. I don't want to strain my eyes again. Let me just turn this light away a bit here. Let me go like this. It's because I deal with this stuff late at night, folks. Anyway, so it remains to be seen. Duc Larange could still be helped by his minions. However, I think Jack Straw is such a strategist. He's got multiple backup plans for this situation. Yeah, for this situation. Let me just have a little look in the comments. What have you guys been saying? One needs 1,000 hours. Yeah, 10,000 hours to be an expert. Let me just get that up. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Jack Smith was born June 1969. Yeah, I've got that in. He's born on the 5th of June. Trump has given us so many examples of his criminal tendencies. Yes, Azalia. Yes, so I'm hoping you guys are finding that interesting. So Jack does have the kahunas to do this. Yeah, remember he's got Mars exactly conjunct the Martian and Jupiterian star Antares. That star is also associated as well. I think it's with Uriel. Is it Uriel? I can never, 1 second. On Momentum, let me just check my board. I think it's Uriel. Yeah, it is. So Uriel is also the archangel of study and research and all of that kind of stuff. Now let's go back in. What did I do with this chart? Let's go back in and let's do some comparisons for between Duck LaRange's chart and Jack Smith. Yeah, let's do some comparisons. So I'm going to do here, where is it? Screens, compatibility. Obviously, these two people aren't compatible, but I'm going to get Duck LaRange's chart up. Let's go down here. Let's go to politics. And then we're going to put Donald. Oh, I'll probably past him. There we are. Donald Trump, Duck LaRange. Right, here we go. Now, if we look here, Jack Smith is in blue. Yeah. And Duck LaRange is in green. And do you remember what I said? Anytime you see planetary configurations touching on things, particularly Saturn and the nodes of the moon, that deals with karmic stuff. So we're going to see here, we're going to see where Jack Smith falls into on Duck LaRange's chart. So if we look here, so let's see here. If we look, where's it? Ah, well, look at this. Now, obviously, we're not sure if this is Leo is Jack Smith's rising sign, but if it was, it's very, very close, yeah, to that of Duck LaRange. But what's very interesting is this. Now you see here, look, there's Pluto, Jupiter, K2, Uranus, yeah, that pile up that I was talking about, all very close together. The Pluto is on the Leo side. This stuff is happening on the Virgo side. But you see here, look, this Jack's Jupiter, K2, and Uranus, remember, which is almost a spiritual combination of sudden shocks and surprises, is very close to Duck LaRange's Jupiter and Neptune. So what this means is, because Jupiter is the planet of law, K2 is the snip separating factor, and Uranus is sudden shocks. We can see here Jack may be able to really bring Donald Trump a lot of shocks. This, of course, has happened already. Yeah, but this Uranus factor will also be there. And K2 is bringing that separating factor. So Jack might be the one that will end up separating Trump, maybe from his wealth, goods, all of this stuff. In fact, it would be, because this combination is happening in Donald Trump's second house, which deals with what? Money, values, finances. So we can see how Jack's planets fall into Trump's second house. So this could really affect his sense of security and his finances. Yeah, but there it is energetically. Now, if we look here, here's Trump's debilitated moon with K2. But look, here we can see Jack's Mars and Neptune is close to Trump's moon. Look, they're in the same sign. Now, remember, this Mars is conjunct what? Antares, the star of war. So you've got the god of war conjunct the star of war. And this is all going to be happening, if we count 1, 2, 3, 4, in Trump's fourth house. Guess what? The fourth house deals with real estate, luxuries, security. Not looking really good for Duck LaRange here, is it? When, you know, when you consider that this Mars is 10 times as powerful as it would normally be. and make it, you know, that's basically what's happening. Here, Neptune is here. Now, Neptune, again, is a spiritual planet. It dissolves the boundary, yeah, between the three-dimensional world and the realms beyond. I'm really getting the strong sense that actually Jack is really quite a spiritual guy. He may not be talking about it, but I would almost virtually guarantee this guy meditates and does yoga. Yeah, virtually guarantee it. It's almost certain. Or he does some kind of spiritual discipline or practice. He might even do karate, martial arts, something like that. It's almost like, you know, that whole samurai energy here. It also shows he has the power. Neptune has the power to dissolve things. It shows he can use the star. He can use the star and the planet of war to dissolve Donald Trump's security. Here you see it goes around and there's not much, there's no planets conjoined here, but mind you, there is the opposition here of Rahu. But if we look here, look at the sun. Yeah, they're both born quite close together. Yeah. So here, the sun sign for Jack, just like with Trump, is in Taurus. Now you see with Trump is right on that borderline. If Trump was born one day later, he would have been a Gemini sun sign in Vedic astrology. Of course, I do Vedic. In Western, they have him as Gemini, but in Vedic astrology, because of when Trump was born, he had his birthday recently, he was still on the Taurus side. So what is, Jack Smith is a Taurus as well. And what a Taurus is well known for, yeah? Stubbornness and persistence. So Duck Larange now has someone pursuing him who has a 10 times strengthened Mars, because it is bang on the star of war Antares with the energy of Archangel Uriel, and his Mercury is conjunct the star Aldebaran, which is also relative to Archangel Michael, the archangel of justice. Oh dear. Yeah, I think a certain someone is in trouble. Yeah, let me know what you think, folks. Now let me just read some of the comments and see what you've had to say. What did you think about that, folks? Well, mowing down Jack, yeah. Mowing down. Actually, let's see. Thank you. That was this. Here we are. Someone saying, thank you so much for the info on the boomers, Terry. Processing the trauma of ancestors. That explains so much. Yeah, honestly, guys, this isn't in the books. And this is why I'm going to write a special book for you guys, because there is so, oh my God, there's almost 400 of you here. Bloody hell. Thank you. That's amazing. And the reason why I'm going to do a book about it is because there is so much that I have learned about the boomer generation. My goodness. Yeah. I think I've done over 1,000 charts now in the last couple of years or so. And I've just seen one pattern after another and after another. And let me tell you, that star Regulus and planets conjunct that star, it is a big part of that boomer generation. So that is so much of what you guys really are here to do, is processing this. Yes, there are many of that boomer generation as well that went to that shadow side, but in many ways what has emerged to me is that you guys are the first bona fide generation to usher in that new age. Yeah, part of the early part of the age of Aquarius. We're not quite there yet, but you know, the free love, the therapy. Yeah, people going to therapy, doing shadow work, the inner child. All of these terminologies now that we now use interchangeably, you guys were the first generation to bring that in, because the silent generation didn't have it. Think of your mothers and your fathers. They wouldn't talk about kind of stuff like that. Oh, I'm going to the shrink, or, you know, what have you, which is now a normalized thing, which is good. But it's almost impossible to imagine the silent generation talking about that. You know, this was like back in the days of Freud and stuff like that. If you went to a shrink back then, it was like you were ready for the asylum. Yeah. So if you just think, you know, how much society has come along, and a lot of that is because of your generation. So that's why I'll dedicate a book to you guys after this, which is which will look specifically at the boomers, and particularly I'm going to be looking at those born between, say, like 1950 up till about 1969, there or thereabouts. That Pluto in Leo generation, I've done videos where I find the exact dates on it. I can't remember it for now, but that boomer generation is very, very interesting. Let's see who else was. Let's see what else you're saying. It sounds like Smith is about to give 45 a good old Kentucky riding lesson. Yeah, he is. When I saw that he had that Mars conjunct Antares, the star of war, and that his Mars is basically 10 times more powerful, it's strong enough to overpower even Trump's Mars, and Trump has got a strong Mars, but in a way, it's like a battle between the royal stars, because Dr. Larange's chart is exactly conjunct Regulus, which is the king. Yeah. So literally, this is the warrior going up against the king. Very interesting. The only thing I worry about, though, is Trump's minions. Yeah. They are so absolutely batshit crazy. They're prepared to do almost anything for that guy. And that cannon woman, my goodness. Either way, Jack will have strategies. He will make sure that Trump, faces his thing. But anyway, now let's do a little comparison. I'm going to share my screen again, and let's see where Jack Smith falls in the USA chart. Yeah, so let's go back to main screen. Let's do compatibility again. Oh, screw it! I can't remember how to do the bloody. 1 minute. I wonder if I'm aware. No. Damn. Once I've got this thing open, sometimes I don't know how to put the next one in. Let's just open the USA chart. And sorry for those technical glitches earlier, guys. I don't know at what stage you're going to be joining this recording, but if part of it is black, don't worry. With a hamster wheel, just press forward. Yeah, just press forward for those that might be catching this later. All right, let's look at where's the USA? God, I can't remember where. I think it might be under countries. Oh, here we are. Country, what have I got? Australia, Belarus, China, France, USA. Here we are. It says constitutional chart, but really it's the Declaration of Independence chart. All right, so here is the USA chart. Now let's do a file comparison or compatibility with that with Jack. Yeah. Let's see what happens. Politics, Jack Smith, open. All right, so here the USA's planets are in blue and Jack's planets are in green. Now, what we're looking for is significant configurations here. Do you see something interesting has happened already? Here, Jack Smith's Uranus, K2, and Jupiter, and pretty much that Pluto, are all lined up with the Neptune in the USA's chart. Neptune deals with what? His shadow side is secrets and scandals. So it looks like here, straight away, we can see Jack Smith's energy here is here to unearth that. Also as well, if you look here, Saturn is here. Saturn is the planet of government, yeah? Government distribution systems of all kinds. Also deals with big business, big pharma, top-down structures, executives, corporate power, etc. So it looks like Jack Smith, part of his energy is here to what? Destroy the illusions or reveal the illusions or the wrongdoings in government. What's he looking at? He's looking at Trump taking the papers, but also he's looking at January 6th. There it is there. Look, you can see that energy. There it is. Let's see. We can't trust the moon on this one because we don't know where the moon was, but here it's looking like it's conjunct. What's the other important thing? The other important thing is here. Look here. You will see Jack's. No. What am I talking about? Yeah. Here you will see that the sun, the kingdom of Jack's chart, and that Mercury is also very close to the USA's Uranus. So again, this is dealing with shocks and surprises, revelation about the kingdom. Yeah, something like that. But I think the most telling part is this configuration here. Now, this is happening. This happens in the USA's 10th house, actually, because I know the USA's chart well. So this configuration of Saturn and Neptune is happening in the 10th house, which deals with name and fame, public standing, and one's status in the wider world when you're looking at mundane charts. That's exactly what Jack Smith is doing, isn't it? He is trying to hold Duck Larange accountable, and is accountable on the world stage. And you can see this stellium here of planets really contributing to unveil the secrets, the scandals, the corruption, yeah, the whatnot of everything that's been going on. So I hope that has been interesting. I will kind of have to leave it there because I only wanted to go for about an hour, and of course there was a bit when I was missing. But what do you guys think of that? Any little kind of questions? In fact, let's do a bit of tarot. Let's do a little bit of tarot while I'm at it. God, I'm exhausted. It's past midnight now for me, but such is my love for you folks. I want to do this stuff for you because we've all been wanting to find out about Jack for a while, haven't we? We've been wanting to find out. So although I didn't have, none of us, no one's got an accurate birth time yet, I hope that was interesting for you. I think we still got quite a lot out of that. Wasn't that interesting with that Mars, yeah, conjunct Antares? Honestly, Duck Larange is toast. If Jack gets his way, he is toast. The only way that he can be saved is by that cannon, yeah? And we all know what she might potentially do. So I hope Jack has got plenty of tricks up his sleeve to deal with her. So let's see. Okay, Spirit, what can you tell us about the case that Jack is bringing against Duck Larange? What are the energies there? And will he ultimately triumph? Let's have a look. Let's have a look. As you know, I don't look at the cards. I'm just going to spread them out here. You can see them better than I can. My eyes are closed. All right, what's going on? What can you tell us, Spirit? What can you tell us about the case Jack's bringing and its effects? Let's see, we can look out for swords, you know, swords of justice, ideally. Ace of Swords would be a nice one, wouldn't it? The Hierophant would be another nice one if that were to come out. Anything that's dealing with justice, the Star would be another nice one, wouldn't it? Let's have a look. Let's see what we've got the Moon. Oh, my. Well. Intrigue, guys, and machinations. My goodness. All right, let's just let rip with this. Straight off the bat, look at the energy around this case. It's the Moon. That Judge Cannon, remember, like I said, in Hoggerly, Saturday just gone, I said, what's under the Empress's skirts? Duck Larange and that lot are scheming like you know what, but also as well, Jack is having to do a lot of digging and all that stuff. He's got his subpoena out, but I think he might have a few things up his sleeve. But what it shows here, there is a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes that we don't know about. Duck Larange is working extremely hard to try and wriggle out of this. However, look what's in his obstacle. Oh dear, death, yeah? And if we look in this card, we can see here how the king is trampled underfoot. Yeah, he's lost his crown. Could this be Duck Larange? And look, here's a woman here pleading for him, saying, please save him. And here, you know, the priest is like doing whatever, and death is like, no, yeah, here's the sun rising, showing a new dawn. So what this says to me is Trump, Duck Larange, and all those around him are going to try every single conceivable lobster move they can. However, it could be, especially because Jack has got Mars exactly conjunct the Star of War, Antares. No matter how they try, he just rides in on his horse and could finish the job. Now, I still believe that Dr. Ronge is going to be under house arrest and what have you, because Secret Service or whatever, or he might just cark it. Do you remember I had that dream? Now, let's look to see what happens next. This could mean poverty and ruin for Dr. Ronge. Yeah, Trump, obviously, if he loses, it's over. Yeah, he's either going to go to jail or he's going to be under house arrest. However, this also shows as well the machinations. Yeah, Judge Cannon and the other deathly spawn are going to try and do what? Scupper the case as much as they can. However, let's see how strong Jack is. He's got a very, very strong case. Here is going to charge forward at some point. Yeah, this is the Knight of Wands charging forward. There could be some mishegas. I think Judge Cannon, if she doesn't recuse herself, may try and delay, kind of getting Trump off completely scot-free, maybe even too outrageous even for her. So she might try and charge and move forward and maybe kind of scupper and do some delay. However, I think Jack comes back. So if she tries that, he may change the court of jurisdiction where it's held. If he can't succeed in Florida, he'll use Washington. But look at the outcome card. You remember I said, I think Jack is spiritual. Look, this really confirms it again. I think this guy meditates. I think he relies on internal energies and communion with the sacred in order to do his work. Remember, it was that Jupiter-Uranus K2 combination. Yeah, very spiritual combination. Here we got the High Priestess has come up. This can also be Judge Cannon doing her mishegas and all of her naughtiness, whatever she can do if she stays on the case. It can also talk about the people that are scheming, but this can also, I think, more pertinently talks about Jack Smith and his nature and how he goes about pursuing this case. Remember, Scorpio is a very deep and mystical sign. And Jack has got Mars and Neptune there. Was it Mars? Yeah, Mars and Neptune, but very strong. This guy cannot be underestimated, and I think he has figured out ways that he can actually bring justice to that whole thing in of himself. So I would say we can see both of the battles playing out. I think Jack at this stage has the edge. If Cannon does interfere in the case and she steps in, what she does may be deemed so outrageous that she could either be struck off or she may have to recuse herself or something like that. But I think she's going to have a go. Yeah. Because again, it's like the Omen here. Yeah. Do you remember people just throwing themselves in their way, killing themselves for Damien just to serve, you know, the master, the dark master as they see it. So let's see what happens, folks. I hope you found that interesting. Again, sorry for that chop out there that happened. What could I do? And oh yeah, and someone's saying, Shivani here is saying, yes, Jack Smith certainly some spiritual presence. I sense that about him. Yeah, he's without a doubt, he's a spiritual guy. He's got Mercury conjunct Aldebaran, Archangel Michael, and then he's got his Mars exactly conjunct Antares, which is Archangel Gabriel. No, Uriel, sorry. So I think Dr. Ronge has met his match. What's this? Only someone saying here, Phoenix Rise saying only 4 of her 224 cases have gone to trial, resulting in 14 hours of her presiding over a trial. I know, which is just utterly ridiculous. How is this even possible? I mean, come on. There are obviously people that can fart with more experience than Judge Cannon. I mean, it's just ridiculous. But anyway, I will leave it there, folks. I don't want to drag this on because it's 1 hour, 19 minutes. But of course, part of that was chopped out. Oh, thank you as well for that donation there. Thanks so much, Foggy. I will leave it there. I'll be back on Hogerly, of course, on Saturday, hopefully without these technical issues. I just think it was just the energy. And thank you so much. Don't forget, of course, to like and subscribe if you've enjoyed this content. I really appreciate all the new subscribers. Thank you so much. And let me know your thoughts in the comments. And of course, you can leave questions for us when I post the question for Hogely. And let's see what comes up this week. But I hope you found that interesting. Yeah. Duck L'Orange is in a lot of trouble. Yeah. It's going to take quite a bit for him to get out of this one. And he won't be able to do it himself. It will be some douchebag like Cannon or whatever. But even then, I think Jack still has the strength to prevail. But let's see how it plays out. All right. Bye-bye for now for everyone. Cheers. Thanks so much.